Hey everyone, so welcome back. So I'm still on the street here, and we're talking about what you don't understand about China. And there's still a lot to say, especially if you've never experienced it for yourself. So the first thing I want to talk about, besides these wonderful watermelons on this cart right here, is this attitude of bukechi that exists in China. So what does that mean? So usually bukechi means um, none taken, or it means no problem. It literally means don't be polite. And bukachi means is what people say after you do something for them. So let's say if you pick up my wallet and I dropped it, then I say 谢谢,and the other person will say 不客气, no problem, or you're welcome, right? This is the direct kind of usage. But what does this kind of culture actually mean? This kind of attitude really comes down to being really informal, being very, you know, gracious, being very humbled. And Chinese people, at the end of the day, are actually quite humble, except for, the rich, the wealthy class who try to show off, which isn't happening as much these days. But to the general Chinese value for Chinese people living there is to be humble. They don't believe in praise, they don't believe in taking credit. They will very much be humble about the things they do to help you. They will say bukachi. They will not even acknowledge that you are trying to thank them wholeheartedly. And this is part of a Chinese culture that you probably didn't understand before. Another very important part of Chinese culture that I want to talk about is this idea of evolution, of continually changing, and really of adaptability. So China has really become the center of adaptability within this century, just by how much it's changed within the last 60 years. As you can see, I'm taking a look at this vintage American toy shop, which probably didn't even exist a few years ago, maybe even 1 or 2 years ago, let alone, you know, longer than that. But this idea of adaptability and being able to evolve and change to circumstances that exist in other countries has really been a key part of Chinese culture, probably since Deng Xiaoping took over and allowed some free market values to enter China. And so, as you can see now, this evolution, this ability to adapt to any circumstances, is the reason why almost all trends that exist now come out of China. So, when we think about big things, big inventions, of course, we can talk about, the ancient inventions that the Chinese people came up with, such as paper, such as gunpowder, a compass, right? But after that, there's so many things that have changed the course of human history, such as trains, cars, and a lot of other things, a printing press. But these weren't created in China. But the way that Chinese people now have been able to adapt created technology from other places. Let's even look at computer technology. Let's look at network technology now, such as 5G, such as Bluetooth, such as QR code scanning. All of these things have been taken and implemented within the Chinese way, allowing for them to adapt these systems into their society. And so it's this adaptability, this ability to take what is valuable and use it for your own society. This has really changed China within the last 60 years. So all of these trends, everything you see on TikTok, pretty much was first invented and implemented in China. I bet you were wondering how did, like, whenever you scroll through TikTok, how did you see these things? Because they were thought of in China. Okay. As well as all of these battery powered cars that you can see. So China has a way of taking what can work, taking what is important, and Chinafication or Chinafying it or Orientalizing it, or I don't even know the correct word. But even with this cafe, you can see it's very rustic looking, maybe even Japanese, European style looking. But now it has totally been adapted into the Chinese culture. Maybe not completely, maybe there's still some special Chinese things about it, but when something foreign will enter China, it will change to become Chinese and be influenced by Chinese characteristics. Okay. So, this idea of Chinese characteristics is something that I want to talk about more. What makes something more Chinese? What makes it more adaptable? But think about this. This is my last point. If something is more adaptable rather than the strongest thing, the fastest thing, if something is the most adaptable, then will they ultimately win out? While being a culture where being humble is normalized, and at the same time being able to adapt to new challenges and adapt to new ways of living based on how foreign countries interact with your own culture, this is important to the Chinese character. At the same time, Chinese people love to hear how foreign people talk about their country and they want to know more about that. So if you want to learn more about China yourself, then you can consider subscribing to my channel where you can learn a whole lot. And I'll see you in the next video.